presented by Dano's Seasoning. Yum yum, get you some.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into a special edition of the Sunbelt Syndicate with our host TJ and Seth tonight, and maybe Marv if he decides to show up, right?
Sounds good. What's going on, everybody?
Come as you are, baby.
Yeah. Doing good, man. Doing good. Can't complain here. I know we got, a hurricane that hit Western North Carolina, got another one that hit Florida. So, of course, there's a bunch of people hurting right now, but life kind of goes on, and we gotta get back to some stuff we know, which is sports, right?
Absolutely.
Rally behind sports there. But we'll touch on that. Yeah, that I saw the text said, what a damn throw that was.
It was on the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also too, the free safety. Well, I don't know if he was free or strong, but they were running cover two. He fell down. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, that happens. He's supposed to have over the top help, and he did not have over the top help. The help was gone.
Live breakdowns by TJ tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Live.
We are live.
I assume, is this your first place in the East this game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. We can bring up a thing for that actually, because the standings. I'll add that to the screen while we get going here. If you notice, JMU is 0-1 to start the year, so they're not really.
Okay.
It's not really for first place in that sense, but both teams do have the best overall records in the East. So in that regard, I can see, you're talking about first place for that.
So I guess technically, even with a coastal win, they'd still be first, right? Well, I guess the head-to-head would matter. So no, JMU be first.
Yeah, JMU would become first because they would both be 1-1 with the head-to-head. Yep.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Man, what a get Petaway was for JMU.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. I was just going to say that. How smart does he look? So he moves on from UNC, who's ended up being not very good this year, right? I mean, they're not terrible, but they're just not great. And then he beats his former team, and now he's, a star on the other roster that he's on.
Doesn't just beat him, hang 70 on him. That's it.
Yeah. I posted that video where he's like waving to the crowd. He's like, bye.
Yeah.
We talk about this on the baseball podcast, but JMU, man, just punching, clicking all the right numbers right now in the last, since they've joined the Sun Belt. I mean, top to bottom. I mean, at least the three big main ones with football, baseball, and basketball.
Yeah,
they're
for sure.
running the show, man.
I think too. I mean, well, and also I know you guys know this. JMU recruits very well, right? That Harrisonburg area, obviously, that's not talent rich, but if you talk about what they're competing against, when you got Virginia Tech, ODU,
Liberty,
Marshall, all of them kind of right in that Virginia area. I mean, they're cleaning house. People want to go play at JMU. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Guess who's shown up with the first comment of the night?
What's up, Artie?
What's going on, man?
If anybody is watching on Instagram, I tried to get the live stream going there. I don't know what's going on. It says we're streaming to Instagram, but I don't see anything moving. So if we're there, enjoy, but I can't see anything that's going on that side. So jump over to something where I can actually see your comments if you want to share those with us or your questions. This game has been a heck of a start, man. I mean, you had the big kick return to start it off, a little fumble.
Yeah, that's going to come back for holding. I think that outside, that I don't know if it was a tight end or a tackle. Watch, let's see. Yep. Looks like your left tackle. He's going to hold him, pull him down to the ground. Yep, saw that the whole way. That's absolutely holding.
I mean, you were at the UNC game, Dom. I mean, just the feel of this game compared to the UNC game, looks like JMU's a little more conservative on the ground and throwing when they have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. For what, like 800 yards against UNC?
Nuts.
Yeah. I'm wondering if last week culture shocked them, or not culture shocked, but shocked them a little bit, do we have to change a little bit of the aggressiveness because it kind of hurt them? They saw a really good team in defense of the Warhawks there in that one, but
right.
Sheesh. Oh, just missed him.
Need that ball.
Yeah. A little more air under it. And two, receivers got to do a better job of keeping himself away from the sideline, right? So if looking at I mean, I guess the ball took him that way though, so it's not really his fault. And there's plenty of space for him to drop that in. That's just not a good throw.
TJ Drigger saying JMU has had 2 O-linemen get hurt in this game. Not good.
Yeah, absolutely. That I saw them go down, and the good thing about JMU is they recruit well. So they might be able to kind of plug and play, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, you get two O-linemen to go down. That is a tragedy.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we have our first.
He's killed this drive.
We have our first big guest of the night joining us. Please welcome to the stage from Locked On Sunbelt, Mr. Dave Schultz himself.
What's going on, Dave?
You guys got to do better than big guest. I'm the least big guest. I may be the first guest.
You may be the only guest. Well, who knows?
All right, well, that too.
No, man, but we appreciate it. I like the polo.
Thanks.
Representing tonight.
Representing. Just came from a team building dinner. So
nice. Yeah, TJ, I don't know if you've seen the update for Dave, but he's working up at Jim Beam now.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Look at that. That'll make a man jealous right there.
That'll work.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say that'll work.
That's about 3/4 of it. Yeah. We got some more. Ooh, I'll show you. I got. What do I say?
There's another quarter somewhere.
Yes.
There's probably a room over there somewhere.
Came out.
Oh, nice.
That just came out, and so did this. So we got some of that.
Oh,
thank you for the free plugs.
Yeah, there you go. All we ask in return is a little something. No.
Well, yeah, my problem. I don't have a drinking problem yet. I just started working. I have a buying problem. Is my problem. Yeah. Most of those bottles were unopened. Is my problem. So
gotcha. Yeah. They age well though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Just let me know if you need my address.
Yeah, there you go.
So why was on a different subject? Why is Marshall favored against Georgia Southern?
I saw you say that this morning, and I've not got the only reason I could think that they're favored is because the way the money rolled in. They're trying to.
But that's not the way. But that's not where it starts. Marshall was the money was rolling in, and people are betting on Georgia Southern, right?
Yeah, I would think I would put money on Georgia Southern over Marshall, but I guess if you're going off of Braxton's performance last week, maybe that's won a lot of people over.
All right,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, but you get outliers, right? Like who a team is consistently versus what they do for one game. So I mean. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a football genius, but based on what I've seen from Georgia Southern the entire year, I would say it'd be silly to put your money anywhere else, right?
Yeah.
Put their money on something different than Georgia Southern. But
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But so Marshall is like 1-6 in their last 7 road games. Now, this year's road games are like Virginia Tech and Ohio State, so I don't know how much we can take with that. Yeah. And I think in the last 2 seasons at home under Clay, or the 2 seasons at home under Clay Helton, they're like 10-4. I just think winning on the road is really hard, right? Ask JMU going to Monroe. Ask Alabama at Vanderbilt. Winning on the road in college football is super hard. I'm not sitting here thinking that Georgia Southern should be a touchdown favorite, but it has gone from 2.5 down to 1.5. So
okay, well that's a little better. But
it's a little bit. It's not as good as it would have been if I was getting Georgia Southern plus the 2.5. But I guess it will do it. No,
very true. Sharing a little love for Dave here from Artie Cat. Dave is awesome and Locked On Sunbelt is always entertaining and informative. It is.
Artie's a big, he's a big
one thing that Dave hammers and does really well with is daily. I don't know how you do it. With a full-time job and daily. I don't know.
Yes, it was much easier when I could scoot home right before my radio show and, hey, coach, can I get, can you do this then? I had, it was Summerall. One guy said, can you do it in 15 minutes? Boom, I'm ready to go.
Wow.
Someone did it at night. It was great. And my days off are not as consistent now. So we try to schedule things if I can. a little bit ahead. So maybe we'll start getting some basketball coaches on. Is probably what I'm going to start to do here.
Yeah, that's creeping up on all of us, right?
Yeah.
Right around the freaking corner.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yes, it is. We got a big announcement coming for that. I think they're coming out with it tomorrow. Spoiler alert, we've been doing some background work on some basketball write-ups, and so that's where I'll leave it.
Good.
But
so what was that? Was that really that SI Now? Was that AI the power rankings that I picked on today?
I don't know. I don't know where. I don't know where you saw those because I hadn't seen that yet. But I saw.
Jeremy Harper found him, Howell Razor from Arkansas State, of course. And I don't think Arkansas State is number one, but at least they're top 5-ish. But I mean, you had Marshall ahead of Georgia Southern, or you had Troy ahead of Georgia Southern. The Cajuns were like 7th.
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
It was whack. It was a bad. Monroe was like 6th, and so we tried to do it off the top of my head. I probably needed to add some graphics.
Okay, well here you go. Here's mine and TJ's, and you can pick on TJ because TJ has ULM 7th even after their victory over JMU.
Listen, I moved them up.
You did.
I had them at 9th.
Hold on. Yeah. So you still have JMU number 1
right now? Yes.
I mean, Alabama's not number 1. They lost. Why is JMU still number 1?
To me, it's strength of schedule.
Whose strength of schedule?
So JMU, well, I don't want to say strength of schedule, but the wins that they had were a little bit more impressive than the wins that I've seen Coastal have.
But Coastal hasn't had an impressive win yet.
That's my point. That's why JMU's number 1.
Why is Coastal number 2?
Because Coastal's 4-1.
They haven't beaten anybody.
Yeah, but you can't penalize them for playing who's on the schedule.
I can. Yes, I can. I'll even up at the end of the year, but they haven't beaten anybody. They have not beat. They've played William and Mary. They barely got by Temple.
Temple was surprising.
They did play well against Old Dominion there for a minute, but Old Dominion hasn't beaten anybody. So, I'm not sure about Coastal as number 2. Not high on Texas State or Arkansas State, and ULM is down. Actually, 8 through 14 is pretty good. I think TJ hit his head.
For mine or for Dom?
What's that?
For me or Dom, 8 through 14?
8 through 14 is pretty good.
Okay.
For TJ. Yeah. That's, I mean.
So what would you
change? My 1 through 7.
My 1 through 7, what would you change? You put Coastal 1?
I put the Cajuns 1.
Okay.
I mean, they have like a legit. I mean, I happen to believe Wake Forest may be the worst team in the ACC, but it doesn't matter.
I was going to say that's not anything to brag about. Beating
their only loss is to Tulane, and Tulane is really good.
Yeah, that's fair.
It wasn't an impressive win against Southern Miss, but the Cajuns hadn't beaten them in the 3 decades. So I'd have the Cajuns. I actually had the Cajuns 1, JMU 2. I had Texas State 3. ULM 4 and Arkansas State 5. I mean, based on what we've seen,
you have Coastal all the way down at 6.
Oh no, I had Coastal at 8.
8, right?
They just haven't beaten anybody yet. Haven't beaten a soul.
Oh, man, that's rough.
And their wins haven't been impressive, right?
Listen, I understand, I get it, but 8 that's a lot.
I thought actually one of their better performances happened in the second half against Virginia. I don't think their first half played them out of the game essentially, but I actually thought they looked much better, much more evenly matched up with Virginia in that second half. Didn't come back, of course, and the final score doesn't look all that great.
Okay, so their most impressive win is Jack State. All right.
Yeah.
And now, Jacksonville State started out 0-3. Now they look a lot better. So I was
going to say, did you see Jacksonville State last night? They looked
night. Oh yeah. I mean,
they looked like a freaking juggernaut last night.
They did last night. They didn't for 3 weeks to begin the season. So I don't know what's changed. I saw them last night. It was 19-6. Then they scored a touchdown in 2 plays. I turned it off. I woke up in the morning. They scored another touchdown in like 2 plays. So they were leading 19-6, and they went to halftime. It was like 33-6. So Jacksonville State is actually probably going to be an impressive win. But they beat like Temple by like 7. They beat William and Mary's an FCS team by a little bit. And then, they're down to ODU, played well later on, and then hung on when ODU made a run. All right, let's see what Dom has.
I'd argue that William and Mary is better than Temple.
Oh, well, they have a winning record. William and Mary actually has a winning record.
Yeah, and consistently in the top 25 of the FCS, which we all know could compete with the lower teams of G5, which Temple is certainly one of those teams. So I would argue William and Mary could beat Temple head-to-head. Not every time, maybe, but they could do it.
So you got Texas State down. You guys weren't all that impressed with Texas State's win over Troy either. Either was not.
Yeah.
Either was I.
Impressed, you're right. No, not like overly impressed. I mean, they did what they were supposed to do, I'd say. But
yeah, it was an uneven game. It was an uneven game, and I won money on it anyway.
All right, I want to get into as you're looking that over more, Dave. I want to get into some comments here. Julian is a Georgia State fan. He says, "I just hope Georgia State can rebound against ODU. It will be a tight game." I believe that's accurate. I think it'll be a tight game there.
So, what do we know about ODU's quarterback situation? Grant Wilson hurt, or Colton Joseph's actually played pretty well?
I've seen something that says Wilson is hurt still, but I would roll Colton Joseph, no doubt, in my mind after his performance last week. I think he's reminding me of the guy in this game actually with Vasco. He's going to beat you with his legs a little bit more than his arm because he's got to mature there a little bit, but
sure,
give him the time to do that because that's what he's going to need to do to develop. He needs the playing time.
And how about Barnett the third? I mean, I thought I got stories last year that he had stage fright. Like he was too nervous to play football. And Jordan McLeod comes in, wins player of the year. And he's despite what happened last week, he's having a fantastic season. Yeah,
he is.
Although I still can't explain the Gardner-Webb situation.
Yeah, that was very strange. Although they put that credit to Gardner-Webb. They did that to a few teams, really. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Gardner-Webb's actually fairly decent this year.
Yeah. Georgia Southern revealed new helmets, almost a sold-out crowd, hurricane hurting attendance, sadly. First true whiteout, going to be a great atmosphere. I'll be there to witness it, says TJ. Yeah, I put it up before, probably like 2 hours ago now, but the Deeper Than Hate rivalry, whiteout versus whiteout jersey. That's obviously they're not playing each other.
Oh, my gosh.
But, yeah.
Insane.
I am like 10 seconds behind you guys. They just snapped the ball.
That's the transfer. He's a transfer from a smaller school.
Is he? He's a big guy.
Yeah.
Is that the Utah State kid or Utah Tech or something like that?
Look that up, Dom.
By the way, that's the second time Barnett's thrown into double coverage. This time it worked out for a touchdown.
Yeah, but this one was a lot better ball placement.
A lot better ball and a little bit more room, to be honest with you.
Right, I was going to say if you're throwing in double coverage, that's the throw. Oh my God! And then they went for 2.
Did they really?
Oh,
I'm not even seeing the snap yet.
Sorry, Dom.
What a catch!
Right. I do want to know why. I saw this line on Tuesday it was 9.5, Wednesday it was 10, and it got down to 7.5. I had to check Thamel to see if Barnett the third was playing. Why? Wow. Why did this go down like 2.5 points?
I don't know. Taylor Thompson played at Charlotte previously, 3 seasons at Charlotte, and he's from Prattville, Alabama. So that's who made that catch.
He catches a touchdown, and then he throws a 2-point conversion. How about that?
Yeah.
So I got JMU minus the 7.5 and the 60, and I'm going over 60.
Yeah,
I would have gone over 62. Yeah, I didn't take that one, but I saw it there, and it was tempting.
I was going to take JMU with the minus 10.
Well, the 60 might not. The 60 may look good if you're getting into the second half, but the way JMU's defense is playing, Coastal does not look good on offense.
Yeah.
Right, Georgia State needs to step up against Old Dominion. All right. I did not see any of that Georgia Southern Georgia State game. Not a bit. I did watch the Vanderbilt game.
Yeah. Vanderbilt game was good. I just saw the end of that because I was at that ECU app game driving back. I was watching that one. listening while I was driving, folks.
Yeah, that was a
Listening.
come from ahead victory for Georgia State. That's
Yes,
for sure.
it was. They had to keep
Are
fighting that off.
are we nervous Ricky Ronnie is going to be on the hot seat here?
Over at Georgia State?
No, at ODU.
Yeah. I think that situation has me thinking a lot similar to like Sean Clark. Like he seems to be well liked enough. And
Well,
I don't know if you have like, and we had this discussion about other coaches. Like it's really easy to get rid of a coach when not only have they not performing on the field, but they've got problems in the background. There may be some, but I don't know of any with Ricky Ronnie or Sean Clark. And when these guys are squeaky clean, it's a little harder to get rid of them.
Well,
yeah, but you're coming from programs like so, and I'll just chime in here and just talk about Sean Clark at App State. The problem that they're having is that university, since I can remember, is used to winning, right? So you get these situations now where it's and you know you got to think when App State first were bowl eligible, they won 7 bowl games in a row, right? So now you're getting yourself in a situation where you might not even be bowl eligible this season.
There's a standard, is what you're trying to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the thing that, as much as I like Sean Clark as a person, this is a tradition set on winning, right? I mean, going back to the days that I played. And what's going to end up happening is being liked is only going to take you so far.
I was told that he was going to lose his job before he got to the championship game last year. But I also happen to think this, and TJ, maybe you could fill me in on this. I don't think they're going to let him go after Helene. Nope. I don't think there's going to be the money to let him go after Helene.
And and Dave, even if the money's there, it's a horrible look, right? Optics wise.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah, you can't.
Wins and losses, my man.
I was going to say, it's a horrible look. I mean, listen, I get it. Hurricanes are a tragedy, and you know, these kinds of things happen, and I get it. And the city and the town, not city, Boone's not a city, but the town is going through a tumultuous situation right now. That said, though, wins matter, right? I mean, Seth just said it.
Well, they do, but that's why I think he's going to be saved this year. But that's it. I mean, he was supposed to be going
last year.
I'm a big Sean Clark.
I feel like it's detrimental to keep him at this point.
Yeah, it's hurting the morale. Like I'm plugged in with a lot of former players. I'm plugged in with guys who are at the university now currently, and I'm not going to tell you everything that I've heard, but I know some people who have had conversations around what his future looks like, and it's not bright.
Why did Nate Noel leave? Was that just NIL?
So a couple different things. NIL's part of it. The other part of it, he saw it was trending the way the program was trending, right? It's not so now we talk about X's and O's, right? Are you an X and O guy? I don't believe Sean Clark is. I think he has a staff around him that enjoys running I guess you can call it the zone read offense, but it's only good if you have players and personnel that can block it, right? Right now, our offensive line is not blocking that zone read, and so what's happening is you're getting pressure all over the place, and you're not getting we in the past couple of years we were beating teams to the edge, or we're beating them backside or cutback lanes. There was always a lane to drive through or run through. Right now, that is not happening. So you've got to be able to adapt. And the problem that I'm having with Appalachian State right now is that they are not adapting to what the offense is capable of running. It's like there's a system and they run it regardless of what's going on. It's first down. They're going to run a pistol, zone read left or zone read right. And that is an awful way to coach football. Respectfully, because I do like Sean.
Yeah, it may get a little ugly. It may get a little ugly in Lafayette this weekend.
Oh, it's going to get terrible. It's going to be awful. I mean, you thought what South Alabama did was bad to us? Lafayette is getting ready to run the table on us.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
So Don, So what's your counter? I'm just wondering what your counter is. Me and you go daily back and forth about 100%. I think he should be fired. No doubt. I'll go to my grave. But how do you counter trying to keep him when it's consistently 20-point losses? That's all I'm asking. How do you defend that? Hurricane or no hurricane? How do you defend a shitty ass football team every week? I'm just asking.
You can't.
No, I'm not defending the results. I'm not going to do that.
And it starts with your coach, is what I'm trying to get at.
No. I'm not misunderstanding the concept. I just don't think we've seen all this, right? The town of Boone puts too much into the football program. They put too much into athletics. They don't care about other things. They only care about the money. They only care about. So the optics, when that's all they talk about already, and then they're going to spend money to kick someone out and then spend more money to bring someone else in. It's just, it's going to look bad. And I think, because of that, it'd be the reason that it wouldn't happen. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen, or I'm just saying what I think will happen is that we won't see that act take place this year. Like Dave said, because of all the things, right or wrong as far as the win-loss go. But I just don't think you can do it. I don't. But we'll see if they do.
What would be so you're saying what it would look like from a financial standpoint, like what it would cost the university.
What's he got left? Yeah, what's he got left on his contract?
Right. Well, I get, if I'm remembering correctly, it goes way down after December 1st or after the season's over. So,
jeez.
I mean, but I think it's still $1 million. So you're going to tell the town of Boone and the people of that city and everything they've gone through that we're about to spend $1 million to get rid of it. Now, obviously, the two things do not have direct correlation. The athletics program is never just going to donate $1 million to any relief fund. They're just not going to do it.
That'll be a private. Someone privately is going to come up with that money.
Exactly. But
so
the whole rhetoric would be, it reads, they get all this money to get rid of somebody when they could have spent it elsewhere. We know that's not the case. It was never going to be the case. They're never going to get this money and spend it elsewhere. They're only going to spend it in a certain purpose, but it's going to look horrible. It's going to look bad. It's going to continue to put them in the bad light. Seth can tell you this as a Boone resident. The college owns the town in many regards. They get to do whatever they want already, and people already hate that. So to make a move like that isn't going to do anybody any favors. So that's why I think it would happen the way it will.
I agree with you, but it should say something at the end of the day that the dude's kept his job because one team was not bowl eligible to make their conference championship in a hurricane. That should tell you right there. That's all. I mean, but I respectfully agree with your point, but at the end of the day, no matter who your coaches are, your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinators, it's the head coach. And like TJ said, there is a standard, and that standard's not been held in 3 or 4 years.
Do you want me to tell you why I do it? Why I would get rid of them?
Yep.
So when we played against South Alabama, I got a mass thread with a bunch of guys, former guys that plays, about 10 or 12 of us. We're all texting each other. We're talking about the game. We're going to play by play, whatever, right? It got into the third quarter, and that was the first time in my entire life watching and or playing for App State that I saw them quit. They quit playing football.
Yeah.
Now I think you saw me. I think I made a post about it on social. I can't remember if it was Instagram, wherever it was. That's the first time I ever seen them quit. Mm-hmm. And that is indicative of coaching. That is, do you believe? Are you being led the proper way? And again, this is no shot at Sean Clark in terms of the person or the man he is.
Right.
There's a difference between coaching talent and letting and allowing things to happen. You're letting teammates quit on each other. And for that reason alone is grounds for dismissal. I can't accept that. I can't accept, as a guy who played it and as a guy who is a lifelong fan and will forever be a fan of Appalachian State, I can't accept quitting. And I can tell when and you watched it, all you guys watch football long enough, when there's no effort being shown. There was zero effort.
You can see that. I'm
you don't have to
a baseball guy than a football guy, but you can see when effort.
You don't have to play to know when effort is not.
That is one thing you don't have to. Yeah, you can see when effort.
There was no effort in that football game.
Yeah. Let's get to some more comments here and catch up on some of these. JMU has had one impressive win against a bad ACC opponent. I believe no wins against teams above 500, which is an argument to be made. And then Johnny Appleseed, I won't read the whole comment, but JMU beating a P5 team and putting up 70 is impressive. And then he's respectfully rude at the end.
70 points against. Yeah. It's one thing South Alabama putting up 87 points against Northwestern State. It's another thing they didn't put 70 points up against, Wake. They put 70
No.
points up against Carolina. That's Carolina. Yeah.
And then this guy says, I don't care to watch other people watch something makes zero sense. Well, I mean, we're watching in the background, but that's fine.
But you are commenting on people watching something.
That's what I was going to say. So don't watch.
Jared's
We
true.
didn't have to. You're absolutely welcome to leave.
Yeah. Just don't let the door hit you or do. I don't know.
Or do
the students showed out for Southern, only for Georgia State and Del McGee not to take the game seriously. I'll argue that they took the game seriously, but I think going in, I think TJ and I, and maybe Dave, and certainly Seth, I think thought Georgia Southern would come away with a victory in that game. But
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think I thought it was going to be like that, but
true. They did look pretty good. Artie Cat has a little bit of an update on Ben Bell, which we've been waiting word on. Still no definitive word, but it does look like he's looking for more money, which is the downside of college football as we know it anymore.
Well, so this is
it a downside?
Who knows? TJ, you may be able to speak on this. Who knows what this could have been, right? But Texas State, it works out for them because they get Jordan McLeod, and I don't certainly having him watch him at LSU, and then Auburn felt like he was following me around, and then at Texas State, and then now at Western Kentucky. TJ Finley could have been Mr. Texas State, right? Doesn't he have twins? Someone could have sat him down and said, all right, we can get you $25,000, $30,000 for school, but then we're going to give you a job, and being Mr. PR, we'll find you a high 5, low 6-figure job within the athletic department, and all you do is go around talking to people about Texas State football. That's what he could have been, right? He was the guy who turned it around, and I can't really blame G.J. Kinney for going out and getting somebody. We could blame him for who he got at the time. So that's a different story. But I guess these guys are just looking at it immediately and not thinking about what the next step is, because TJ Finley could have been set, right? Isn't it was Trotter for South Alabama, right? I think he started like a handful of games. He's working for the athletic department. He went into the transfer portal for like a week and a half, came back, and they've made sure that they've taken care of him. He's got a job. I think so. Going to graduate school. So
there's a couple schools of thought, right? When it comes to that, I get what you're saying in terms of what the long term could look like. If you stay with the university, you could be set up for. I don't think that a lot of these kids are thinking about the long. Like, we're all adults. We all, for the most part, have families, wives, mortgages, car payments, all of that kind of stuff that we're thinking about that we need to. These guys don't have that. They're kids, right? And so what they're looking at is what makes sense to me financially right now. And if you come from a situation, and I'll just speak for myself, coming from a situation where it wasn't necessarily at the poverty line, but we certainly weren't well off.
Sure.
And somebody shows you $100,000. Well, I'm going to go get $100,000 or even $50,000 or whatever it is.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because I don't think he got that because he ended up coming back to Texas State. That's the thing.
Gotcha. It's hard to say. Yeah, it's hard to say. I just, when it comes to those kinds of things, and that's part of the reason why I like NIL. But the other part too is that I think that there should be, these guys should have some sort of managers or something, and somebody in place that's helping them make informed decisions. Because like you said, you might take $100,000 now or $200,000 now, but if you stay with the university, you set up, 6-figure job for a lifetime.
Or just for the next immediate, maybe gets his graduate degree, whatever the case is. It doesn't even have to be for 20 years. It just has to be, you're going to be able to buy diapers and put one thing having a kid at 23, it's another thing having twins. Right.
Yeah. And having to provide for, absolutely.
Yeah. So someone could have said, hey, I can tell you this. I'll tell you this. Someone told me that, and now he's starting, so maybe it's finally paying off, but Zion Chris didn't get nearly as much money as he was supposed to. And someone had suggested that if he stayed, he was underselling himself. Because if he stayed one more year for the Cajuns and did what they were supposed to do so far this year, and he was the guy who led them to a Sun Belt championship and who knows what after that, then he could have gone and got his high 6 or 7-figure deal. So
Makes sense.
And I hear what TJ is saying by, we're just looking for the immediacy. We'll see if it worked out. He certainly looked good last week because Houston has been a mess until Zion Chris got in there. So one's got to wonder why Zion wasn't starting from the get-go. But
yeah, we have AJ Moore said, did y'all do the questions already? We did not, and he had 2 for us. So we'll go with the first one. What do you guys think of the crispy all-white uniform Georgia Southern's breaking out for this week? The first time of the all-white helmet look. And then he's got a second question after that.
I'll tell you this. I am a fan of a solid color. All white, all black, all red. I don't care what it is. One solid. I don't know why. I don't know why I like it, but I just do. It just looks clean. It just looks, like he said, to use the word crispy, it just looks good. Now, you're not going to stay clean in all white, right? Like Penn State does a white out, but they don't wear white helmets. Their helmets are still blue. And it's like, well, what the hell is the point of that? They be all white. If you're going to be all white, be all white. So, no, I listen. I like it.
Oh, yeah, those are nice. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a fan of the numbers on the helmet, so I just can't get into that for some reason.
You don't like the number on the helmet?
No, don't care for it.
What do you want? Anything?
Easier for play-by-play guys.
I could do the number on the back, but like the big number on the side, like what do you? I just don't get what we're trying to do with it. I don't care for it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a play on, I guess, Alabama, and I think Alabama does it, Georgia Southern does it, and who else? I think there's one other school that does the number on the side of the helmet.
Well, Coach Prime in Colorado are going to start putting Twitter tags on the helmets.
How are you going to be able to read that?
No, but did you see that the practice uniforms have their social media tags on them?
Yeah, I like it.
Who sees that?
I mean, yeah, that's my thing is like, okay, but I mean, I guess you can get pictured during the practice and that gets published somewhere, but at that point they've already found you. They're not going to look at a practice picture,
right?
So,
well, but everything Colorado does ends up on the internet, whether they post it or somebody else does. So somebody's going to see it.
It's a good point. All right, couple other questions here. I don't know if this one's serious or not. John Gruden wants the Southern Miss head coaching gig. That would be
you don't want John Gruden anywhere near your program.
No, but name-wise, that would be interesting. He's all in for Southern Miss to fire Will
Coaching
Hall
search that ever comes up, John Gruden's related. No matter if it's Lenore Ryan football, John Gruden's always the name.
No, why would I want? Yeah. No.
Yeah, you might as well. You'd be better off. I don't even know.
Why would we want that mess?
Hey,
as if
TJ, one thing I've talked to Dom and Marv about. With any good coaching fire comes a candidate searching thread. So you're always watching playing trackers, message boards. I mean, everything comes along with it, man. I can't wait.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. Like, if there is in fact a coaching fire or hot seat or whatever, once that ticker starts rolling, and we're gonna get all kinds of names.
It's gonna be fun.
Southern Miss doesn't have racial issues with the volleyball mess with Favre. They're going to bring in John Gruden.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, they've already got an issue with stealing money. Well, he didn't do it. They didn't do it, but Brett Favre did.
Come on.
From welfare individuals. You think
they were the recipients of that money.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yeah, stealing from that population. You think they're going to bring in John Gruden, who?
Yeah, let's not.
Said all kind of.
No,
I don't know if you guys read the whole.
To the NFL. Has he ever coached in college?
And the other thing is, do you think they'll let him back in the NFL, and in what capacity? Because
he's studying right now.
I don't see it happening.
Right. Need one more.
No chance.
All right, need 7 more. Need 7 more in this half, baby. We're looking pretty good.
All right, this one will kind of help roll into to AJ's question, but this one technically comes from TJ here. If Georgia Southern takes care of Marshall and JMU wins tonight, do you consider Southern versus JMU game a battle of who will most likely win the East? And to roll that into AJ's question, which was kind of look at Georgia Southern along the rest of the way to see what they might look like. I mean, that becomes, if they beat Coastal and have the leg up, and then Georgia Southern and JMU meet with possibly Georgia Southern having not had a conference loss, and they beat James Madison, that's it, right? I mean, what else is going to happen there?
Yeah, and I don't think it's a matter at this point of if they beat Coastal. I think it's
How
a
much?
matter of
How many?
by how many, and when do they call the dogs off? Because this is getting out of control.
Yep. Is that officially a touchdown
down?
It's odd though.
All right, it's a first down. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's in.
Yeah, he's in. That's touchdown.
In. He was in.
Yeah, he's absolutely in. There's none of the white touches the ground.
What did they call on the field though?
Why did that defensive back get out of the way? What was that about? Number 3 jumps in there and he goes right past the play.
Jumps out of the way. Oh man,
I see
that now.
Yeah.
What is that?
I think he's in.
Live to play another day. Cam Newton play there.
Someone made a business decision.
Yeah. Yep. He wanted his knees to still work after that.
Yeah. All
JMU
right, so
seems to always have Coastal's number. Yeah, that's true.
29 is 36. One more touchdown would make it 43.
Yeah, touchdown. I figured that was going to be the case.
So then we only need 3 scores. We only need 3 scores in the second half. We get one more touchdown in this half. We only need 3 scores in the second half.
You think we'll get them?
Combined. All you need is combined. It doesn't even matter who scores them.
That's my point.
Right.
Do you think we'll get them?
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of guys come out in blowouts. I don't understand that.
True.
If they get up, we'll just say, what is it? Let's say they get a stop and a score, and it's 36-7. All right. I think JMU got the ball to begin with. So say they get another stop and a score, and it's 43-7. Why would I want to play Barnett anymore? He's played 2.5 quarters.
That's my point.
I would take him out, but I have money on him, so let him in there.
But that was my point in talking about the 60, right? When I think
but
it's
only a 7-point spread, so you're not thinking.
If you take Barnett out, now maybe Coastal can score a little bit.
Okay, that's fair. I get what you're saying. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Okay.
Although that coming in a hook is a bad line. I don't know.
Let's remember, Dylan Morris is the backup, so it's not like they're going to drop tremendously by putting the backup in. So, they could still put up points with him playing back there. I mean, what school did he come from again? Was it Washington?
Yes. He was a starter at Washington before Penix. He played 2 years at Washington before Penix arrived from Indiana.
Okay. Fun fact. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And AJ Moore says, let's keep in mind Georgia Southern was leading twice against Boise. Yeah, that game was amazing. I knew it was going to be pretty good.
Gave up like 20 straight points.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, now we know why. Ashton Genty is.
I was going to say Genty is different.
True. Yep.
Also, it's 8:45 at night and my wife is vacuuming. I don't know what's going on.
Take away Gentry and French's first game, Jen. Really? No kidding.
Yeah.
Thanks, TJ.
Well, I think
TJ is Captain Obvious over here.
French was impressive. I actually thought. I mean,
if you take away Patrick Mahomes from the Chiefs,
right? Do they have Super Bowls?
And the referees, right? And the referees take the.
No, we're not doing that. We're not.
No, I know. I'm just joking.
We are not doing that. That's all over social media. Oh, the refs. It's scripted. They want Kansas City to win it all. I'm like, come on, guys. This really, and the whole
right now, I could be wrong about this because probably you'll get some Navy and Army guys in there. But it's like Signetti and Bryant Vincent got to be top 5 in Coach of the Year, both of them, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds like it. Or it looks like it.
And the cool thing about that, for even the people that don't like Signetti, I mean, he's taken half a Sun Belt All-Star team and he's winning games easily. So that's kind of cool for all of us to say, we saw these guys play.
They
Now
too
that-
haven't played anybody.
Well, that's true. They haven't played
and
anybody
they
real.
do get Ohio State later because Michigan stinks. They don't play Penn State.
Yeah.
So he very easily could go 11-1.
And 11-1 is not a bad look.
That's
No.
a really good look for Indiana. There's not too many
Mhm.
11-1. I'm not sure Anthony Thompson went 12-0 for Indiana.
Right.
Did I just do a reference that's way older than you guys?
Probably, but that's okay.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, we got a little slow point here. Yeah, I mean, we kind of.
Anthony Thompson may have played with Antoine Randall L.
I do remember
I don't
Antoine
know.
Randall.
Yeah, I do know that name.
Quarterback at Indiana.
Yeah.
Well, since this game is so great at 29-7, we can start getting into some of these as we go along too. That's the standings there. Quick look at that for everybody who didn't see that the first time around. Yeah. Again, who would have predicted App State and Troy to be at the bottom with 0 Sun Belt wins in 4 tries going into the season? Not I'll tell you that.
Well, I had Troy. I had Troy finishing ahead of ULM. So I had ULM last. I was wrong about that, obviously, but everybody.
Yeah, I don't remember my preseason. I have to go look those up, but
yeah, I don't remember what mine were either.
Troy was definitely not the bottom for me. I could tell you that, but they did drop off. I think I definitely had them third or worse because I thought Texas State and Arkansas State would both be 1 and 2 with they might have been below the Cajuns even.
Who's that?
The Troy Trojans I had.
Oh yeah.
But all right, so looking ahead to this weekend while we watch this demolishing continue, we've got ODU heading to Georgia State down there in Atlanta. Both teams looking for their first Sun Belt win. What do you guys think going into this one right here? We'll start with TJ first.
Yeah, so obviously I've got Georgia State ranked a little bit higher than ODU, not by much, but I think ODU is on upset alert, or Georgia State's on upset alert. I think ODU defensively is really good. They played really, really well in the games, even the games that they've lost, which has been obviously 4 of them and been a lot. But I think defensively they play a really good brand of football. Offense, they got to score points. Now that's the other part of it. I don't think they've scored more than 20 the entire season so far. So I think that's going to be where, they did score more than 20 in their win. Their one win.
Yeah.
But apart from that, they don't score the football, and so that's going to be their issue. But I think defensively, they can slow down Georgia State. And I think, honestly, I'm going to pick ODU to beat Georgia State because I think defensively they'll be able to get some stops. And I think they'll be able to put them in some bad situations. And I don't think Georgia State is as good as we wanted them to be. Not that we assumed they would be good. I mean, they didn't have a great season last year, right? But coming into this season, they haven't been impressive at all. And I think ODU, if they have anything to hang their hat on, it is defense. And I think that they'll be able to put a stop to what the Panthers do.
Seth, quick thoughts on this one right here? Picking anybody?
I don't know. I'm just sitting here. No, I don't have much.
1.5 point spread. You think Georgia State could do that, or would you favor something different?
Fumble? I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right, Dave.
Georgia State better win that football game.
Yeah, they should.
State,
but I don't think they will.
This actually ends. I guess I got a little ahead of me. They haven't left the city of Atlanta yet. Georgia State has not left the city of Atlanta. Their first 5 games were in the city of Atlanta.
They got a Texas State schedule down there, huh?
Forget about leaving the state. They haven't even left the city. Their first game was on the road at Georgia Tech.
Oh yeah, I see that. I didn't remember that.
They don't leave the state until I think next Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah, a week from tonight.
That'll be an interesting game. If Georgia State can win and Marshall keeps it up, interesting.
Do they call that an incompletion? They call that an incompletion.
It should have been a pick. It should have been a pick. Or I'm sorry, a fumble. But they call it an incompletion. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was a catch. All right. I need one more score.
I
got time 2 more scores.
We'll make the time. In my thoughts here, I think kind of along the same lines of TJ. I think ODU has every shot to win this game.
100%.
Obviously, Wilson pictured here, but I think we're going to see Joseph again. I just don't know how you go away from him after last week. Really the last 2 weeks. He came in towards the end of that other game and looked good in that one, in the victory against Bowling Green. And then obviously, stat-wise, put up pretty good numbers just this past week, even in the loss. So I don't know. I think they got a shot, but this one could look similar to ODU's game last week, I think. We'll see what happens in this one. Let's go to TJ's got another statement here. That statement, and he's talking about his taking away Genty or French, but the statement is not often as a Sunbelt team you open against a guy that may be the best running back in the century. There isn't a single team in the Sunbelt that would get by Boise. I mean it. You did lose, but yeah, not much Genty every week, and it shows. Georgia State had under 40 yards rushing against us. Yeah, that I don't think Georgia State's offense is built around the running game, and Georgia Southern's no longer built around the running game. So
right,
interesting.
Yeah, but you can't say if you just take the best player off the other team, we win. That's
Well,
those are those arguments that get made.
We understand that. Yes, if Gentry doesn't play, yes, Georgia Southern could have done it. But
yeah, that's like saying if I ran a 4.2, I'd be in the NFL. Yeah, probably.
Right.
Probably.
The one thing that
TJ, what did you run?
Yeah,
4.38 was my fastest. That was the fastest I ran. But pro day time was a 4.45.
That's still like fast.
Ish. Not when you're 5'8" and you played at App State. You know what I mean? You're 5'8", you played at App State. They want you to run a 4.3.
App State doesn't matter. The 5'8", unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
You know what's funny? So my measurables. So I did a pro day at App State, and then I did a pro day at Carolina. Oh God, what's the receiver from Carolina? Hicks.
Keem Hicks.
There was one named Hicks. Yeah.
Keem
Nix.
We did our pro day the same time. We had the exact same measurables in every single. I think I did the 225 rep test maybe 3 more times than he did. I think I got like 18 reps or something like that at 225. But our speed was the same. Shuttle was the same. Every single measurable was the exact same. The only difference was he was 6'1" and I was 5'8". And then that was the deciding factor. Not that it came between me and him in terms of what team picked what. But everything else was the same except he was 6'1".
Interesting.
Yeah. Those are the kinds of things you don't forget. You don't let that kind of shit go.
Ooh.
My guy Carlton Marshall playing in Europe somewhere?
Say again?
Carlton Marshall playing in Europe somewhere?
Is he?
I don't know.
Yeah.
How did he not catch on somewhere? I mean, shocking that all-time leading tackler.
Shorter than TJ Kerman, that's why. He's the same. He's exactly 5'8". Exactly 5'8".
That'll do it.
So Hakeem Nicks, okay, just to make TJ a little saltier here. You talked about the measurables. He was exactly 6'1", 208 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He was drafted in the first round at pick 29.
I know.
The same measurables as you.
I know. Trust me. Listen, I know. Everything was the same. I know.
TJ says, I know.
Know all about it.
7-year NFL career. Jeez.
And won a Super Bowl with the Giants.
Yep.
And was responsible for the catch on the sideline that put him in position to win the Super Bowl.
Was he the one that pinned it to his helmet?
Someone was listed at 5'10" at App State.
No, that was
I was not 5'10". Not 5'10" at all. I would like to have been 5'10". That might have made a difference.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. They've got the Sunbelt standings up on the screen that I'm seeing. So speaking of that, on 2 teams on the opposite sides of the standing, we've got 1-4 and 0-1 in conference. Southern Miss traveling to Monroe to take on 4-1 overall and 2-0, the only 2-0 team, unless this game. Well, actually, no, doesn't matter if JMU wins this game because they'll still only be 1-1. So, yeah, what are we thinking in this one? Is this like Dave, I think you said it. We'll start from the bottom and go up this time. Dave, I think you said watch out a little bit.
Just don't have.
You're just going to waltz in there and win it, right?
Yeah, can't have a letdown. You just can't have a letdown, right? They've had their biggest win in the better part of a decade. Southern Miss had a couple of plays that just didn't go their way against the Cajuns. I'm not sure if it would have totally changed the outcome of the game, but it certainly would have affected it. Don't think. Here's the thing about ULM. They're like Virginia right now. They're like Virginia in basketball. Virginia, they always have those tough losses because they can't score. So if you put up 60 points, you're going to be close. ULM doesn't score a whole lot.
Right.
They average more rushing yards than they do passing yards. And so there's always that, one bounce, one bad call, tipped pass doesn't go their way. I mean, ULM should win this ball game. It really shouldn't be close, right? This game should be like 20-7, basically. All right. Now turnovers can change that. I think ULM wins this ball game. I think they're 5-1 and they're 3-0. Unless there's a major upset, maybe someone will start taking notice of that because I just didn't see. Did Vincent get on any of the shows on Monday or Tuesday? I know Clark Lee was on all of them, but he needs some more pub.
Yeah. He'll get it if they keep winning, but it'll be tough to continue doing that the way they have been because, like you said, they need to keep scoring points. I mean, they've been in every game's been a low-scoring battle except when they 30 points.
Yeah, but a lot of that is like from the defensive side, or they didn't put up. Going in that game last week, Alonzo Barnett III had against Carolina 388 yards.
Right.
I think ULM had like 407 yards passing total.
Jeez.
Armenta had a season high for quarterbacks for ULM with 147 yards. Right. So, also, I'm interested to see how many people show up.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I want to see. I don't know if the stadium will be
Coastal is terrible.
What's that?
Coastal looks terrible.
They're awful. Vasco can't put the ball on anybody.
They can't catch it when it's there either.
They can't catch it. Yeah, he can't. Well, and to his point, that last throw, the one that he dropped was a little behind him. But you got to. I mean, at some point, you got to make a play. Like they can't catch the ball. They can't. They certainly can't run it. I mean, they split him out 4 wide and ran a quarterback draw, and they get nothing. They don't look good at all. That's going to certainly change my ranking going into next week. They don't look good.
Now you're a believer in the bad.
Well, listen, I had to I give you credit. I don't care how you win. I care that you win. Because at the end of the day,
I'm all about that too, to be honest with you. But if you're grading against other teams,
that's fair. That's a fair.
Who you beat and how you beat them has to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's
I'm all
why
about the win and move on. I'm all about the win and move on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I played for some Appalachian State teams that won the national championship that we lost against Wofford, after beating Michigan in 2007. We beat Michigan
that year.
Yeah, we beat Michigan, and then immediately the following week go to Wofford and play, and we lose to Wofford, and then like 4 or 5 games later we lose at home to Georgia Southern. So listen, it's just get there. I don't care how you do it, just get there.
Yeah. Does anyone think the move from General Booty to Armenta was a good and fruitful move? I think they'll move the ball better with Armenta back there than they did with Booty.
Is that the guy you had on the show earlier in the summer?
No,
different guy.
That was Mooney. That's who.
I think that was a move out of necessity. So I think that's good.
Yeah, they got to do something to get some morale, to get the morale going. I don't think. Listen, I don't know that it'll be a huge improvement, but it was, like you said, Dave, a necessity move because you can't keep stirring the pot with the same ingredients.
Right.
You got to add some stuff in. So.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? I don't know who they put at quarterback for Southern Miss, because the other week when they brought in somebody to try and turn the tides, I think it was against Jacksonville State. They the other guy also threw 2 interceptions after Rodemaker had already thrown 2. Yep, the quarterbacks combined for 0 touchdowns and 4 interceptions on the day. So I think I'm taking ULM in this one with that defense against these quarterbacks.
I'd say so.
Oh, man. All right, let's go to this next one. We've got Arkansas State after they just barely get by South Alabama at the end. As Dave said, some questionable play calling there towards the end. But they go on the road to Texas State. Again, Texas State has not left the state of Texas yet. So they've gone, from San Marcos down to Houston for a game. And then everything else has pretty much been at home there. Does the winning continue for Texas State, or does Arkansas State keep it rolling? TJ, let's start with you first there.
Yeah, I got Texas State by a lot. I mean, by 10 plus. I think the line is
14-point favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the line is like 14.5 or something like that. I got them by 10 plus easily. I don't see this being a close game at all. I think what Texas State is doing offensively, they're not going to be able to be matched with. I think they're going to be able to put the ball anywhere they want in terms of slinging it all over the field. They're going to run the ball well. They're going to block this. I mean, their offensive line averages, I think, like 290 across the board. So, I mean, they're going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to pretty much do whatever they want offensively. They got to get a little better on defense, right? Got to get some stops and register some punts. I assume they'll get, I would say maybe 2 to 3 punts, and that is going to be what puts them over the top. But I got Texas going away. Texas State going away. I don't think this is going to be relatively close.
Dave, what are your thoughts on that?
I just don't know what to make about Arkansas State yet. I mean, I do think, that was yesterday's topic, sophomore slump or progress. And I think Rayner has made progress, because I think last year we saw when things weren't going his way, he tried to push it. And he didn't do that against South Alabama, didn't need to, because what South Alabama was playing defensively. And then, Texas State just let Sam Houston not come back only once, but come back twice in that ball game. So I don't know what to make about that. Do they lose focus? I don't know how that happens. And then you still got G.J. Kinney going for it on like 4th and 2 at his own 27-yard line or 24-yard line. I don't know what So I'm confused about that. I think Texas State wins it, but I think it'll be a little bit closer.
Okay.
Here we've got some hardcore Red Wolves fans in the chat right now, because Ben James is saying y'all underestimated A-State last week, so underestimate the Wolves again and see those Red Wolves win. Followed up by Chris Howell, PhD. Did you also say that when Arkansas State beat them 77-31 last year? Yeah, he's got a point. This ain't
last year, my boy.
Yeah, but that was such a fluky game with a bunch of turnovers and kickoff returns. That had nothing. Yeah. No, we didn't see that. But that game was in Jonesboro, right? This game is in San Marcos.
True. It's also true. Yeah, and we know San Marcos is really coming alive with the student section and filling up that stadium. It's going to be a raucous crowd in there for that one. And I've got the same questions you do, Dave, as far as Jalen Rayner is concerned. We saw the accolades off the offseason with the Manning Passing Academy award for the best collegiate passer at the camp and everything. And just, I was hoping that they would put more of a scare into Michigan or Iowa State. And unfortunately, those two games were not close. I know the final score against Michigan was somewhat close, but when you watch the game, that one was never in question. But we'll see. Ben James is bringing out the stats even more. A-State leads all time against Texas State 7-4. But again,
you keep telling me about the history.
I'll give you a history. They're 2-6 on the road in the last 8 ball games, and their 2 wins are against UMass and ULM.
Yeah, there's some history for you. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Again, I'm not sure Arkansas State's going to get blown out, but Texas State's going to win.
Yeah, I'm not predicting a blowout, but I'm predicting 10 or plus. I mean, I don't consider a 10-point win a blowout, but I do have them by 10 or better. I don't think that they can stop them.
My offense.
I'm hopping off here.
I'm going to have a tough time getting to 60 now.
Have a good night.
See you, man. Yeah, I think the Texas State defense is a little underrated. I think because of what the offense has been able to do, I think Texas State defensively, they're not amazing. They're not blowing me away. Don't get me wrong, but I think they're still pretty talented and can get after some people. So,
well, that's true. Among the nation's leaders in sacks, but they're all risk reward. If you just pick up the blitzer,
yeah.
Gotta love a hater like TJ is what Chris says. Texas State hasn't really played anyone other than Arizona State. Well, I'd say they played Sam Houston State, and that was the one that they let slip away too.
And they played UTSA.
Yeah.
Well, but UTSA is awful. I will say that they are.
Who has Arkansas State played that they played well against?
True. Yeah, they almost lost the first game to Central Arkansas.
Iowa State hadn't scored 21. Iowa State hadn't scored 21 points, and they were favored by 21 points against Arkansas State, and then they put up 50.
Oh,
something like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, you the stats are the stats, and I don't want to poo-poo right on Arkansas State. They're a decent football team. I just don't think they match up well. We'll find out. That's what Saturdays are for. We'll find out. I don't think it'll be relative. I mean, define close. Like what is close to me? Like I said, close is anywhere under 7 points. I don't think it'll be that close.
I'm starting to think it may not be. Yeah. It may not be that close.
Yeah,
we'll see. I'm not sure. Arkansas State's going to have to do it with defense. I don't think Arkansas State's going to be able to do it with offense.
Well, and they can't do it with defense because they really haven't stopped anybody.
They did a good job of stopping Gio Lopez in South Alabama last week.
That's fair.
But that was at home. What do they got? They're average. TJ, you may be right. Now I'm starting to think you may be right. This may be a blowout.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Arkansas State, again, they're going to have to pick up that defense. I'm not sure Arkansas State's going to be able to score 28 or 35 points.
That's my point. I don't think they can score enough to keep up with Texas State. Them stopping Texas State is not an option, in my opinion. Texas State's going to score 35 points. That's going to happen. Right. And Arkansas State hasn't shown me at all that they can score 30 this year.
No, not last week, right?
Yeah. Sam Houston State is Conference USA. Well, yeah, I would typically agree, but then when they come and beat one of our teams, then we have to give them some kind of credit. Otherwise, we say that's like saying our conference really isn't all that great. So we got to have something there. Right. Chris L says we've not blown anyone away, but found ways to win against everyone besides our top 20 or 2 top 20 teams.
That's what I agree with. Yes, yeah. I totally agree with that. Right.
Raynor's going to go. Well, I'll be honest. I've been waiting for Raynor to go off all season. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, he went off against South Alabama. They just didn't finish. He had like 350 yards in the air. They just didn't put it in the end zone until the end.
True. Rucker had like 178 yards, no touchdowns. Like twice the length of the field, 0 TDs. It was kind of crazy. This game will be defense game, but low scoring. Red Wolves win. It's a good prediction. We got a Texas State fan, Artie Cat, saying we need to win just to avenge last year's – yeah, that's got to be a motivating factor.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like you said, playing this one at home for Texas State, I mean, you're going to want to have to do that. Kept the top defense in the Sun Belt to 16 points. It's not offense. Sorry, I said defense, but he's saying offense. Yeah, I don't think they'll be the top offense very long, but they are right now. Man, the Red Wolves are just going off in this chat right now. Yeah, I agree with Chris there. Raynor has been off all year. No idea what's going on. And like Dave said, that he asked that question earlier this week, or you said it was just yesterday's episode. Was that right?
About Raynor? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I think there is part of sophomore slump in there. Because he's got 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions compared to last year. He was 17-7. But he's winning these winnable ball games. I mean, those winnable ball games, every single one of them were losable. He very easily could have lost South Alabama. He could have lost the Tulsa game. He could have lost Central Arkansas. Some people think he did lose the Central Arkansas ball game. So I'm impressed with that. That's the next step. They were not able to run the football at all against South Alabama. So that's a little bit interesting. Only had like 30 yards or something. They had like nothing against South Alabama.
Yeah.
I think he gets credit for winning the close ball games. Like I said, TJ, win and move on.
Right. Right.
I think this one he's going to have to finish these games off. This is going to be interesting. I say GJ Kinney goes for it too often. Butch Jones is going to have to go for it, right? He's going to be facing 4th and 4 on Texas State's 36.
He's going to have to pull the trigger. Yeah. Yep. He's going to have to get in those situations where it's 4th and short, even in some cases 4th and medium. He's going to have to make a decision.
Right. So like on a 3rd and 8. When you're like, what is he doing running the football, getting 4 yards? It's because he thought he could break for him, but now he's going to go for it on 4th and 4.
Right. Yep. Yeah. Keep in mind what the next play is. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Ben James says he's essentially saying that Texas State's going to have to find ways to win other than throwing the ball. Well, they do have a backfield that consists of Lincoln Perry, Ishmael Mahdi, just a couple guys that could beat you.
But isn't that exactly? Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think you want to talk about Arkansas State's running game last week because it was not very good.
Non-existent.
Yeah. Running back for Texas State is former. Yeah, Lincoln Perry is there.
He had 66 yards on 30 attempts.
That is not good.
No, that's not good.
Not at all. Okay, we got 2 more games, and we don't have to get to them right away, but it is halftime, so we can. So this one, actually, where's my I skipped the App State game?
No, that's next.
It should be next, but I don't have a graphic for it, it looks like.
Well, we can talk about it after this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, honestly, it's a good thing that you didn't put it in there. I don't want to talk about it.
No, the Cajuns. You don't have a Cajun one? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to talk because I got to pick with my head.
He lost the App State. Yeah, who buys that? He lost the App State graphic. Come on, no one's buying that.
Yeah.
I do want to know what I did with it because I specifically remember making one.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put it in there either because listen, I'll keep this short and I'll keep it simple. App State has not been impressive at all this year. We don't stop anybody. That's first thing, and when we don't run the ball well, right? And then when we're in pass situations, they're obvious pass situations, and that's the issue that I've been having with Appalachian State. We don't put ourselves in advantageous situations on first down, and when you're on first down, that's when sometimes you got to take your shot, and we don't do that well enough or at all. First down is not a run down every single time. At some point, Sean Clark's got to veto whatever the offensive coordinator is calling. And we've got to put the ball in the air. We've got to make some changes. We've got to shake it up. And we have, for the love of God, have got to do more than zone read right and zone read left out of pistol. Everybody in the stadium knows it's coming.
Yep.
My son was watching the game the other night and was like, "Hey, Daddy, are they going to run it again? It's first down." And I'm like, and he's 7. And I'm not even making that up. Like, he's 7, and he said that to me. And I'm like, yeah, it looks like we're going to run the ball. And guess what they did? They ran the football. We cannot be that predictable on first and second down. It's bad.
Cajuns, they need to finish. Last week they didn't finish. Robert Williams dropped a touchdown pass. They kicked a couple too many field goals, but Southern Miss wasn't doing anything offensively. Again, a couple plays didn't go their way. They called a great fake punt, and then the lineman held the one Cajun guy that was going to make a play, but even if he didn't hold him, just move in front of him, and the punter was going to get the first down. It may not have been his biggest gain, but it would have been a first down. And then the Cajuns tackle the running back coming out of the backfield right in front of Will Hall, and he's throwing a conniption. And so, you get that call or you make that play, and I don't think the outcome would have been different. So we'll see if the Cajuns weren't as crisp on offense as they should have been. They're at home. It should be a big crowd. Again, somehow they're averaging more in 2/3 of a stadium than they do in a full stadium. I don't understand. The line is still giving App State a bunch of respect.
They shouldn't. They should not. What is it? 14 points, right?
They got, they got beat up pretty well last week against Marshall. They're still dealing with the after effects of Helene. I don't want to. Sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I respectfully to the community of Appalachian State, I don't want to put what we look like this season on Helene, right? Like, I get that Helene has been, and I know what you're saying, right? Like, we're fighting that battle. We're coming off, and I get all of that, but this goes beyond that. They're not a good football team. They're just not. Right. Right. Well,
And
I couldn't imagine trying to play a football game last week.
Sure. No, listen, I get it. I'm right there with you.
Things are back to normal-ish now for these kids, but they certainly weren't last week.
Yeah, so, but even still with that, they weren't good against Clemson.
They were,
which I don't imagine. I mean, listen, it's Clemson, and they look pretty decent this year, but they weren't good against South Alabama at all.
No, they weren't.
They're not a good football team, and it's almost like they don't believe anymore that they're like, there's some times where even if you're not very good, you still think you got a shot at winning. There's times that I think that this team thinks that they don't believe that they can win. And that's not okay.
Yeah. Well, Chris Howell is asking, what's the biggest issue with App? Here's what I'll tell you is the biggest issue.
They can't run the ball and they can't stop the run.
Well, yeah. So on the offensive side, it's very clear and easy to me. Like you said, that's where a lot of the problems lie. I mean, the defense is an issue too. You can't ignore that. But App State still has, even with this record they currently have, even with the disappointment they currently have, they still have the number one passing offense in this conference right now. Number one. They're 8th in rushing. So don't run. He's got to, like you said, he's got to stop running the ball to set up the pass and do the opposite because it ain't working. So
yeah, but here's my thing. It's easy to be number one in passing if that's all you can do. That's my point. Like the thing is, when you get in situations that require you to run the football, we can't do it well enough. We don't do it well enough. And so it's kind of like, I'm a Cowboys fan. The Dallas Cowboys don't run the football very well at all. And so Dak has got to throw the ball 40 times a football game just to keep him in it, just to keep it close. And, then you get mad at Dak Prescott for throwing an interception. Well, you got Joey Aguilar back there throwing picks because he's got to force the football at sometimes because we can't run the ball on first down or second down. You can't run the ball. And so when you can't run the ball, you put your quarterback in harm's way. When you've got him where he should be throwing the ball maybe 20 to 25 times a game, he's throwing the ball 30, 35 times a football game. I mean, and now your completion percentage goes way down, right? And you've got that's leading the conference in passing is a microcosm of not being able to be a balanced football team. No team really should aspire to lead the team in passing yards or lead the conference in passing yards. That shouldn't be your aspiration unless it just happens that way, right? And that's the way you draw it up. But the reason it is the way it is because they cannot run the football, and conversely, they can't stop anybody from running the football against them. And that is the reason why Appalachian State as a whole is not a good football team, because they can't stop. Those are the two things that travel, right? And Dave, you've been watching football long enough, you know this. The two things that travel anywhere you go in the world is the running game and defense. Those are two things that travel very, very well. If you can't do either of those things, and we can't right now, you don't win football games, period.
True. It's true. Dave, I have a question for you. I said this, I don't know if it was the show with TJ or it was the show with Marv last week, but is Ben Woolridge very, very underrated as a quarterback in this conference?
He probably is. He hasn't been healthy, right? That's been the problem. He hasn't been able to stay healthy his first two chances with the Cajuns. Didn't play well last year against ODU, and then put him into a spot where he had first and goal inside the 10-yard line, and give ODU credit for making a goal line stand. He's played well this year, and they have a ton of weapons. The offensive line is good. The running backs are good. The tight ends are good. He spreads the ball around, and we went from are they overrated to could they contend when those win totals came out and it was 8.5. Like, what are we doing here? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, they have all this talent. We're just wondering about the quarterback. No surprise that it was Ben Woolridge. Chandler Fields is a good backup quarterback in college football. All right, he's a little bit small. He can come in there and make some plays when he needs to, but I'm not sure he could do it on a regular basis. Ben can throw the deep ball. I wouldn't say he's sneaky quick. He may be sneaky quick, but he's not sneaky fast. He had a chance at a bootleg against Wake and couldn't get there. Did turn the corner on a bootleg against Southern Miss. So he is, I would say, sneaky athletic, but more quick than fast. He can make that first move, but he doesn't have a second gear or anything like that.
Right. I think at 6'3", he's got that long stride, is what you're saying.
I think that's it.
Feet aren't moving real fast, but he's making up ground because of that.
He's having a really good year. Where is he? I haven't even done that. Where is he in Sunbelt stats passing?
Let's see. I can go to the leaders real quick. He is passing wise. Oh, wow. He's at 6th. I would not have assumed that. But actually, it makes a little more sense when you see who's above him. Barnett, Lopez, Veyer, which has actually a little bit of that one's a surprise. McLeod and Aguilar, obviously number 2 and 1 there. Veyer's the only one that's kind of surprising me that's up there in 3rd right now from Georgia State. The one that doesn't look like his last name is Veyer at all.
Yeah, Georgia State throws it all over the yard though. So
True.
As much as it is surprising, they do throw it a lot.
Oh, this is conference games. We don't want it. Do we have overall? Where's overall? Well, these are conference stats.
If you click the conference, are you on the Sunbelt page itself?
Yep.
Click on the thing that says conference only. Their website is not clear on that, but if you click the one that says conference only stats, it should switch it back. No, it should say overall stats.
Oh, there we go. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's very confusing. It's like you think it's showing you the opposite of what you're on, I think.
All right.
It's like telling you to switch over, but it doesn't make that clear at all.
Leaders. All right. Passing. All right, Joey Aguilar. What are we going on? All right. He's got 10 touchdowns. How many interceptions does he have, though? What is this based on? Is this based on yards?
Yeah, I think it's just yards. It is just yards, yes. Actually, no, because that's why Veyer's up there so high, because he's not got as many yards.
So it's average per game.
Gotcha. Okay, so Woolridge jumped up 1 spot to 5th if you go by the yards.
Okay, but so it's average per game?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yep, that's what it was.
The only thing it would be interesting to see, let's go to rushing and team stats. And now the Cajuns are only 6th in that. What's the average per game? Cajuns are 255. So James Madison actually runs the ball pretty well. South Alabama runs the ball pretty well. Or no, that's
a lot of that is attributed to Lopez.
Yeah, Lopez.
So South Alabama runs the ball well. Marshall is 2nd. Coastal Carolina 3rd. The Cajuns are 4th. So that's why Ben won't have huge passing numbers, because Desimo wants to run the football. He's got some sort of crazy stat that the Cajuns run for like 180 yards, whatever it is. They have a ridiculous winning percentage, probably since Hudspeth. And he's like, it doesn't matter how many yards passing. We've won games with 150 yards passing. We've lost games with 400 yards passing. That's probably because you were behind. But if we can consistently get to 100, 180 yards rushing, we win the game. And that's what they're looking to do. And they got those 3 guys. Finally feels like Zylan Perry has stepped up. I don't know if Jalen Washington is still banged up, but they got a 3-headed monster. They didn't play particularly well against Tulane defensively. The Cortland Flowers, he had an off the field issue. It really, TJ, I understand. I know I'm Gray. I can understand how college coaches who are responsible for 120 kids and young men, and one guy screws up, and it screws up the entire defense, right? Cortland Flowers was going to have this great season, and now 2 guys are out of position because someone's covering Cortland Flowers' position and someone's got to cover that other guy's position. And that's where the defense took a couple of weeks to get better, but it's a real shame when that happens.
You don't realize what you cost the team when you get yourself in those kinds of situations, right? Yeah. It's unfortunate. I know. I mean, just talking about Georgia's program, they've had 19 arrests so far this year. The most in college, I think, college football history. That it's insane. I think about, I would say, I think half of them have been speeding tickets. But the latest one was a guy, assault on a pregnant lady. unborn child, endangering an unborn child. So it's like, my thing is, if you're not, I struggle with this because you can't police players outside of the university, right? Like,
no, Corlin Flowers he's a young man. He knows what.
Yeah, you don't need your hand held, right? Like these are men, right? And they're kids. Don't get me wrong. I was a stupid kid too. We got in fights and we did things, but we never did anything to get ourselves potentially not playing football.
Right.
And I think that is the biggest issue is like, you can't put yourself in situations where you're not eligible to play. That hurts you and hurts the team, and it destroys your family name.
Yeah. So back in the day, the Cajuns actually went after a player. They went after one of their own players because one of the players went after a female staff member.
Mm.
And then the players went after the player for doing what he did.
As they should.
Well, it was an interesting, it was that was a whole little scandal there, but that's like, 8 years ago now or something like that. But so it's just a selfish move. So it took a couple of, that was the Tulane game. And so people were out of position defensively and probably on special teams that landed a touchdown return. But they're good. They do have to go to ULM. They do have to go to Texas State. So that's going to be an issue somewhere along the way. Who do they have after this ball game? They're at Coastal. They're at Texas State. That at Coastal game is not going to be easy. That's going to be an early game. That's going to be a noon ball game. Conway is not the easiest place to get to. So,
what are you talking about? Myrtle Beach, right there. It's easy. Come on.
Right. The baseball team had a ridiculous time getting there one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had some kind of crazy plane issue. Yeah, Robe told me about it. It was insane. Yeah.
Do the ManningCast. Yeah, I wish we could have like at least a little video of the game itself in the corner, but I think we get taken down for copyright reasons, so we didn't quite try and go to that extent.
I was gonna say I could share my screen. I got the game watching. I'm watching the game live right now.
Well, that's why I told you to run it in the background like you did. That's perfect. You can not see well enough to know what it is, so we can't get pulled down for that. But it is running. It is behind you. So
it is behind me. It's also right here on my other screen.
Yeah, I know. I've got it on the big screen over here in the corner in my in the basement, but I do have to look over there. So it's kind of like, with it being 29-7 currently, I don't have to look over quite as much.
Right.
So they need 4 scores. Yeah, I'm not going to get that. I need 28 points, 24 points. Well, 25.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I got the over under 60. Yeah. I'm going to need 4 touchdowns.
James going to start resting some guys here in a minute.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, if they play it like that Carolina game, they don't take the dogs off, so we'll see.
Well, the problem was in that one, Carolina kept on scoring.
True.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. In fact, I was shocked. I know, Carolina is not a football school. You have a big stadium. You have tons of fans with money that can come and fill up that stadium. And that's exactly what they do. However, they're just not built with the football culture, right? And they're called a wine and cheese crowd for a reason. They're a basketball school. So everybody started to leave at halftime of that game. And I'm looking around going, this game ain't over. This is the same argument that we hear every year. The depth will overcome by the end, right? And it started to kind of make its way. It wasn't even the depth, I wouldn't even say, actually. It was the fact JMU went so hard in that first half. By the third quarter, the end of the third quarter, I looked at the sidelines. I can see these guys just sucking wind.
Yeah, they didn't have any fresh bodies.
Yeah. JMU was just running out of guys. But it's like you said, TJ, UNC's sideline, they gave up. I watched them too. So in the fourth quarter, they do the whole thing. They hold up the 4. They walk over to the student section. They try and pump everybody up. 3 players walked over to the student section. They got to about the 20, turned around and went back to they gave up. Before the fourth quarter even started, the team had given up. Yeah. And full credit to James Madison because that's why they gave up. But, it was a game that they, 2 quick scores changed the momentum real quick in that one. But, yeah. All right, let's get to this one. Marshall comes off a big win over App State at home, but now they travel down to Statesboro. So, what's something going on in the game?
Maybe.
No. You said Marshall came off a big win against App State. I said, was that a big win?
Oh, just a big output win, not a big.
No, I know what you mean. I know.
Yeah.
they won big. Yeah, absolutely. Listen,
they hit the half-century mark. Come on, we got to give them credit for that.
Right. I'm gonna take Georgia Southern in this game. I think Georgia Southern has the better whole as a team. I think Georgia Southern now, the way that they throw the ball all over the lot, I think that they are going to challenge Marshall's defense. Marshall's going to get some pressure on the pass rusher, which they were not able to do a whole lot. They did it some against App State, not as much as I thought they would have, because Appalachian State does not protect well. And if they didn't do well against us, I don't think they're going to do that well against Georgia Southern in terms of getting any kind of pass rush game together. So I'm taking Georgia Southern. What's the spread here? Marshall by 1.5.
Yeah, that's the one Dave was talking about earlier this morning.
4.5.
Yeah. Okay.
That's come down even more. Yeah.
They're giving Marshall a lot of respect. What is this? This is in and it's in Statesboro. Wow.
In Statesboro, yeah.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going with Marshall in Statesboro to win. It's hot down there, man. It's not the same as playing up in Virginia or in West Virginia. No, it's in Virginia.
West Virginia.
It is West Virginia. Okay, yeah. Then it's not like playing in West Virginia, and it's going to be 80, 85 degrees, during the day. Well, I guess this is at night, so probably won't be that hot. Might not be that big of a difference. Still, I got Georgia Southern. Not by a lot, but certainly have them winning.
Yeah. I'll go next, I guess, and say this one's – I can see why the spread is close. I agree with Dave that I would have thought Georgia Southern would have been on the better end of that. But when you start looking at it, I guess I can see a little bit, because you've got Braylon Braxton had a great week last week. I don't even know if he's going to be the starter, though, right? I mean, like, Stone Earl was out because of the injury, not necessarily because he's done anything wrong. So who's even going to start the game next? I don't know exactly. But you do have A.J. Turner, who is the leading rusher in the entire conference right now with 443 yards. Only has – this is shocking part, though. So only 2 touchdowns with all those yards. Fluff Bothwell is second leading rusher at 408, has 6 touchdowns to his credit. Now, maybe Dave might know. How many of those came against Northwestern State? Maybe that's the question you got to ask.
No, he's had a bunch of them came against App.
That's true, too.
He's been fan. I don't know what happened last week. He didn't play very much or run the ball very much last week. I don't know why. Against Northwestern State, I mean, at one point in time, this kid was averaging like 10 yards a pop.
Yep.
So I think it's down to 6 now or something like that.
That was always going to come down, though, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But no, he's been fantastic. Let's see. Is it in there? Let's see. Oh, no, he's averaging 7.3 yards a carry. AJ Turner from Marshall is averaging 10 yards a carry. My goodness.
Okay. Yeah, and he's done it against some pretty good teams. Obviously, he didn't have that kind of average against like Ohio State and such. But I mean, you got to think that game goes on his record and he's still averaging the 7.3. That's pretty good. I don't know. The more I've looked at this one as we've gone along and talked about it, yeah, I see why Marshall's getting a lot more respect. And they've got Mike Green on the defensive side, who is, if he's not a surefire NFL draft pick, I don't know how he wouldn't be, because he's just all over the field. If you're watching a game and you don't notice him, something's wrong with your eyesight. I guess that's the dynamic, right? Georgia Southern can score quickly with that spread offense, the fast-paced aspect that they have, but the defense is a question mark. And if Marshall put up 50 last week against App State, not that they have a good defense right now, but could they do that type of thing against Georgia Southern? You then really just have to ask the question, is Marshall stopping them defensively to kind of even that out? I could see more and more why it's a coin toss.
Yeah.
Chris House says he tried, but the horrible, quote, Arkansas State defense stopped fluff. Well, I don't know if we said Arkansas State's defense was horrible. Just, I don't know if they're upper echelon either.
That's fair.
Defense on team stats. That's what. Also doesn't have like overarching ranking, but Arkansas State sacks against 9th. Oh, sacks by. Here we go. That Arkansas State's 12th in accumulating sacks and sack yardage. They are second in interceptions. They are last in forced fumbles, and they are last in fumbles recovered. So, yeah, I mean, defense isn't tremendous, but it does get the job done. Southern by 9. He's got Southern by 9 in this one. Interesting.
I could see that.
Yeah. I could see it, especially like Dave said. I mean, down there in Statesboro, they play very well. Georgia Southern went up to James Madison just last year and got beat pretty badly. But the year before that, when James Madison came down heavily favored, they got taken care of by Georgia Southern down there. I think JMU was ranked in that one. Is that right? Am I remembering correctly in that?
What's that?
The game, I think it was 2 years ago now, because Georgia Southern just went to James Madison last year. But the year before, JMU came down to Statesboro as the ranked team, and I think Georgia Southern beat them in that game.
No, that was last year. Wasn't that last year? That was Georgia Southern beat JMU last year on game day when game day was there.
No, that was App State. I was there for that one. I'm looking it up now. I think it was 2 seasons ago down there in Statesboro, in 2022 season. Let's see. Yes, they beat James Madison, who was ranked number 25, 45-38 down there at Polson.
Okay.
Van Treese was the reason, because he went for 578 yards through the air.
That'll do it.
Yep. His largest output by far of the season. Although he had 409 against Nebraska, which is why they won that game that year too. They've had just like James Madison and Georgia Southern has a really good success through the portal with the quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Did they not get it on 4th and goal?
What are they doing?
Scoring a touchdown.
Is he?
Are you serious? I mean,
he's
running it up. I guess technically that's not.
Yeah, this isn't classified all as running it up. This is the first drive of the third quarter.
Yeah, but that's, you know what that is? This is what I was told back in the day what that is. That gives the defense a chance to stop them on 4th and 4 rather than a gimme field goal.
True.
They could have had a gimme field goal. Instead, it's obnoxious going for it on 4th and 4, but if the defense stops them now they don't have any points. Now, I'm rooting for that because I want them to get 60.
Right.
Yeah. We got Chris Bolton, who's a Georgia Southern fan, says Davis Brin was questionable. Yeah, he was a little questionable. He could sling it. He was a little careless too many times, I'd say. He threw.
So was Kyle Van Treese. I mean,
true.
I think they just threw another interception against Wisconsin. I may have had some money on that one too.
Yeah. Oh, that is one game that I was disappointed. App never actually got to play up there, and then Georgia Southern went up there and took it. That's a place I've always wanted to go see a game with but they do the jumping around, right? Isn't that Wisconsin?
Did this kid who had the late hit or that he was talking trash, he just got kicked out of the game?
No, they just got him on the sideline. They're chatting with him because he's the reason that they scored. It was stupid. He knows better.
And he knows that he knows he was 29-3. No, but I think he got ejected.
Did he?
Yeah.
Let me see.
One of his players told him to calm down, and then I don't know what just happened.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't think there was no flag. I didn't see a flag anywhere.
I'm gonna go play by play and see if I see where they say that.
Yeah, I just rewinded it a bit, and I didn't see any of that. Oh, there is
it either.
Unsportsmanlike conduct to Courtney Eubanks at the Coastal One.
What did he do?
I don't know.
Replays going on now.
The coach tries to calm him down.
It does not say.
I'm watching the replay, or about to watch the replay.
It does not say he was kicked. Oh, Warren is coming in and saying he was ejected.
Yeah, he's definitely ejected. I just need to know why. I don't even know
why.
what happened.
It was after the play.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I need to put my screen up here closer where I can see it. It's too far away. Warren doesn't seem like he's seen a replay yet either. So maybe no one's seen the replay.
All right, yeah. Let's see it. Maybe we'll get one after the commercial break.
Maybe it's like those NFL ones where the this motion that I'm not fully showing.
Oh,
maybe I don't know. I'm just speculating as we don't know.
I don't know. 36-7. So
well, he did
40.
something
I
defensive.
really need Coastal Carolina to score a damn touchdown is what I need. If not 2 touchdowns.
You might not get it until the fourth quarter.
I don't care when it is, as long as it's before 0-0. That doesn't matter when. A couple years ago, I had Alabama in the under. It was 11.5. Guy kept on telling me, well, which game they're going to lose. It doesn't matter which one they lose. I don't know which one they're going to lose. That's the one where they lost to A&M on the field.
As long as they lose. So.
As long as they lose.
Yeah.
The bet wasn't which game they're going to lose. The bet was they need to lose.
Yeah. I am very, very disappointed in myself for not putting the over on the 1.5 victories for ULM. I would have just Jackson State to start with. I would have said they would have won at least one more game.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I wasn't even sure they were going to beat UAB. I didn't realize how bad UAB was.
Well, that's true.
I did say from the beginning that they were going to beat somebody that they weren't supposed to beat. Now they've beaten like 2 guys.
Yeah.
People didn't think they were going to beat. So, although Troy stinks. So
that is true.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So people are like already moving on from Parker in the fan base, right? Like, can we be realistic? Like, what that was always going to be an extremely tough job. The team has won back-to-back championships, but they lost a ton of talent, and they got a coach who took some of their talent away with a new coaching staff. I mean, it was always going to take time to build them back up. I think people just unrealistic, right?
Well, the problem is that the guy before there comes in there with a losing record and, has all that talent that's sitting there and wins back-to-back Sun Belt championships. Chesney and JMU lost a lot of talent, and they're still really good. ULM is doing it with a turnover, so they're good, although they're winning it a different way. Although kind of the way Troy does with, the first year was defense. Rushing and defense. So that's the issue. They see other teams doing it. Why didn't they? So, and also here's the difference between Parker and Chesney. Chesney's been a head coach for well over a decade. I know it's at a much lower level. But he's gone from like D3 to D2 to FCS. He's done the laundry. He's, done the lines on the field, right? He's driven the van. Now all he has to do is recruit and get some NIL money and coach football. So I we'll see. I can't judge him too much. Although if you're judging him against the other guys in the league, obviously he's last in the new coaches, right? I don't think Major Applewhite's done a great job either. I'm not sure what they were trying to accomplish. I don't think they put it together towards the end of the year.
No, not this year.
Here's the other problem. All right. The starting quarterback's hurt. Goose Crowder is hurt.
True.
All right.
Yeah.
If Goose wasn't hurt, they'd be able to score some points. The backup QBs can't score points. That's the problem.
True.
Good point.
True, because they have they have talent on the defensive side. It's not what it has been, but they still have some talent over there to get some stops. But you're right. If your offense can't take some pressure off that defense to continue to throw them back out there and have them try and win you the game, maybe occasionally that'll work.
Isn't very good either. Yeah.
No. And he's asking if Goose is out for the year. I don't think I've heard that yet. Dave, have you heard if he's out for the year?
I have not, but it's his shoulder. So, that's going to be an issue too, right?
Yeah. And Warren's saying the Troy lines are a problem. Well, does, seem to make sense because it seems like there's a couple teams that have that as the problem. Oh, he picked that off. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, gentlemen, I think I am going to call it.
All right.
This has been outstanding. This is fun. This is absolutely fun. We need to do this again.
Pleasure meeting you, TJ.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Watching the game and talking to you guys and then kind of doing our own thing on the side. This is great, man. This is absolutely great.
Yeah, it was nice to kind of try something different. I don't know how many times we'll do it the rest of the year, but it's definitely a good time. If it was a better game, I think we'd all be a little bit more likely to, keep it going longer. But this one, it's not really kind of up to par there.
Right now, this game's looking pretty good to me, depending on what your definition of a good game is.
True.
That's true. That is true.
Any game that wins you money is a good one.
Yes, sir.
I'm a much bigger talker because I don't bet a whole lot on the games. Just enough to keep it interesting. Although last week I started out 6-0, and then I had Clemson, Cajuns in South Alabama, all on the road, which wasn't probably pretty bright. And I probably should have shaded my own bets just to win something because those teams, not only did I individually bet them, but I bet them in a parlay. So I should have done. I should have bet against myself just in case. Little insurance policy.
Yeah, for sure.
So who's on the shirt real quick before you go, TJ?
Oh, that's Nipsey Hussle.
Blue laces.
Yes, sir.
Oh, now I see it. I was before. He's like, is it a wolf? And I'm like, what am I looking at? Now it's a guy.
Yeah. Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
I guess it's because we could only see, sometimes it's kind of close to your name there on the thing, so you couldn't necessarily see.
Oh,
what
yeah.
it was.
Sliding over, yeah. And then also his name's right here.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, gents, it's been fun. I am going to take it out of here, and you guys enjoy.
Yeah. No, we'll all we'll call it all here because I think that's kind of run its course, but it was a good time. It's kind of close to a typical episode, but we'll let everybody else enjoy the rest of their night, and we'll put this out on the audio version for everybody to listen to tomorrow.
Have a good one, guys.
See you guys.
Thanks for joining us, Dave.
Later.